Jay, noticed some extra lines on the ice today. I don't know if that was, maybe there was a curling team out earlier beforehand, but if not, what was the purpose of those today?
Yeah, I think we started our practice with just a little bit of a walkthrough on the penalty kill, and just a way for us to teach some of the things that we want to get cleaned up on the penalty kill. And I thought the players went out and executed. It wasn't taxing or anything like that. It was just about clarification of different scenarios that you find yourself on the penalty kill.
Are you, and look, I know you're not reinventing the wheel or anything necessarily, but are you approaching sort of one step at a time with some of the things you want to implement, or do you work on multiple things? How do you approach that?
Yeah, I think we want to narrow our focus here and realize that we only have so much practice time. We will only have so much times where we can meet without it being counterproductive. So we're just going to be very selective and surgical with what we bring to our team, and we'll try and build our team game on the fly. And the start of practice today, that was dealing with our penalty kill.
What's the extent of your conversations with your leadership group? Just in terms of, I don't know if there's extra conversations that are needed, so, just small details, the way you'd like things done, polling them a little bit on how things are done. Is there an extra layer of communication there? And I know it's really early, so are you in the middle of that process?
Yeah, I think we're very early in that process. Yesterday was an emotional day. Things happened very quickly. The initial meetings with leadership or members of the leadership group were just quick, direct. I think as we move forward, especially on the road here, there'll be more time for asking questions, listening, and taking the pulse of our leadership group.
What's your philosophy on teaching through positive feedback versus negative feedback? If you were to put a percentage on it in a Jay Woodcroft video session, how much of it is here's a negative example, or hey, let everybody do this? What's your kind of take on that?
Well, I think our staff is going to try and see things with an observant eye, but through a positive lens. Like I said, we only have so much time. We're not going to paralyze our players by having hour-long video sessions. We got to be selective with what we want to accomplish through our teaching in video, which we will be. We want to have a positive bent to that. But there's nothing wrong with having teaching or learning moments in games as well, and learning from them, and I think the group can. It's never personal, and I don't think anyone can confuse accountability with negativity. I think the way you present that is important, but like I said, I think as a staff we're going to try and have a positive bent to our video sessions.
I know you said yesterday you didn't want the day to be about you, and understandably so, but can you just reflect a little bit on what yesterday meant to you? Maybe some of the feedback you had within your family, or just sitting back looking at that yesterday, what it means to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was an emotional day for our team. It was an emotional day for Dave Manson's family, an emotional day for my family as well. For me, the highlight was to see some smiles on faces in the dressing room after the game. I think that's important. It's been an emotional few days for the group, and that was a real highlight as I walked back to the hotel last night. I was pleased with seeing the smiles on our players' faces.
You mentioned Dave Manson. What has he meant to you in terms of coaching the defensemen in Bakersfield and now coaching the defense here?
Yeah, for myself, I really enjoyed the process of selecting a staff, and Dave Manson was the first hire that I made, and he's someone that was ready for the opportunity to go from the Western Hockey League to the American Hockey League. I think his playing career speaks for itself, but I really respect the path that he's taken to become the coach that he is. He's not just someone that's been gifted an opportunity. He's really worked his way up in the coaching world, spends a lot of time at it. And for me, to have someone of Dave's capability, I know it makes me a better coach. He's unafraid to voice his opinion. He's unafraid to challenge ideas. And I think he brings energy. I think he brings a presence. And most importantly, he puts our players first. And we're excited to have him up here in Edmonton alongside. I know personally I'm excited to have him with me. But I think the organization's excited to have him with the big club here in Edmonton.
So what will it mean coaching against Todd McClellan, since you spent so many days together as assistant coach and head coach? What will it be like, and do you have a bag of tricks that you're going to dig into that maybe Todd hasn't seen before?
Well, I understand your attraction to that question, Jim, but for me, I've been saying to the team that we're concerned with today. And so my attention and my focus was on our practice today, which I think was a good practice. We got some things accomplished, but that's where my mind has been. My next thing that I'm worrying about is making sure that we travel correctly tomorrow down to San Jose. And then once we get through that day, I'll worry about the San Jose Sharks and just trying to approach things on a daily basis. But I understand your attraction to that question.
So what has Todd McClellan meant to you then?
Well, I think he's been someone who took a chance on me as a coach. He was somebody who taught me a lot about being a leader, and he did so with the simple eloquence of his example.
One last question. Why the lectern when the other people are sitting at a table?
You know what? I'm more comfortable standing than sitting behind a table. Interesting question. No, not at all. I'm just more comfortable standing than sitting at a table.
Jay, congrats on the win last night. Welcome back. Just what's your read on the group and how their mental psyche is after everything that this team has gone through in the last 7 weeks, the last week? What's your gauge on everything right now?
Well, it's been emotional. In last night's game, not only has it been an emotional couple days for our organization, but it's there was an emotion in that game, which I liked. I liked the fact that it got a little bit emotional there, and seeing players stand up for each other. I think where the team's at this morning was we understand that the New York Islanders has gone to the Final Four in the last couple of years. They're a good hockey team. They're pretty much at full strength. We found a way last night to beat a good hockey team. And that's something to build on as we go forward. So those were points that we tried to hammer home. Like I said before, we're going to approach things on a daily basis. We're going to give our players some themes. We had a good video session, went out and worked on what we talked about in the video room. And I think as a coaching staff, we would agree that we got what we needed out of our players today.
I know you're a day-by-day guy, and you mentioned that, but this is a funny thing, the way the universe works, where you're going through San Jose, and then you see Todd on Tuesday in LA. Is this a money on the board type of trip for you and the guys?
No, I think that's typically a player's thing, isn't it? But no, for myself, as I said to Jim, my concern and focus has been on today. And now that we're getting towards the end of it, I'm going to worry about our travel tomorrow and answer a few phone calls and texts, and then try and come up with a game plan to help our team beat a good team in San Jose.
Jay, you mentioned yesterday how there's a lot of players here who know the previous coaching staff and they're comfortable and familiar, to various degrees with them. One guy who isn't is Evander Kane, who was just getting his feet wet with that previous coaching staff, and now has a new voice. Does it make it a little easier to work with a player like that, or how do you approach that situation when somebody who hasn't, been under that guys for very long?
I'm just getting to know Evander. I've been impressed with his level of professionalism. I thought he did a lot of really good things in the game yesterday. I think he is a valuable player for our team, and I'm looking forward to getting him to know him on a deeper level as we move forward here. So for me, he is like some of the other players that I don't know on the team yet. I'm looking forward to building some relationships. And you mentioned the players that we've coached in the past. I'm looking forward to strengthening those relationships.
And I guess to follow up, Dave Tippett had tried him initially with Connor McDavid, then switched to Draisaitl. You had him with Draisaitl. Where do you kind of see his skill sets best kind of matching with those two, or how do you plan on giving him that rope to see where he goes?
I think he's got a great skill set that lends an ability to be able to play with anyone. I think what I didn't know about Evander was his detail coming back into our defensive end. I thought he did a lot of really good things on the track. He's physical, he's big. You got to remember, he's also just getting up to NHL speed because he missed a lot of hockey early in the year, and he was a big factor in our team winning the game last night. And we just talked about players sticking up for each other, and I thought him sticking up for some teammates at the end of the game there, I thought that was excellent and shows his level of commitment to this group.